Okay, this week we're going to add the house and do some annotation and some cleanup stuff. So, excuse me, you're going to start with your site plan that you completed in week 13. We're going to make a couple of changes to it. So let's go to an elevation and we're going to create a new level. We're going to draw it up here in the air. And we're going to call it, I'm going to call it top of floor. I'm going to make the height of it 109.12 feet. And then what we'll do is we'll use that to align, excuse me, that's the height that I want the top of the finished floor of the house to be at. Okay. And the reason I know that is because I've been playing with it to figure out that that's the best height. If you don't know it, you just kind of have to do some math and some experimentation to see what's going to work for you. Okay, so we got that done. Let's go back to our site plan. Excuse me. And I want to make sure that my orientation is set to true north. Okay, that's going to lock my, that's just the way we want to do it, okay? All right, now I'm giving you a house plan to download in the assignment, and the name of it is going to be a little different than what I'm using. Just roll with it. Use a download that's in Blackboard, okay, because it's already set up for you. All right, so we're going to go insert Revit link, and you're going to use one that says week 14 download. Okay. I think this, because I've got that one set for you. It's clean. It's ready to go. I think this is the same thing, and I haven't used it for. We're going to change this to be manual base point for our positioning. And we'll go open. And I want to drag it, and I want to get it close to the corner right here of my building layout. This is the layout of the building that was in the CAD drawing. So if you're not seeing that, you just need to unhide or turn back on that CAD import drawing, okay? All right, now you can see my building is right there. So to make this easier, let's pop a section view in that goes through the building and then through that area where I want the house at. Okay, now here's my little house that I've imported in. It's kind of like an X reference, okay? If you remember that back from AutoCAD. So I want to select it, and I want to come over here and I'm going to go shared site. It says not shared, so I'm going to click that. And I want to go publish, and that's going to put the coordinate system from my site plan to, excuse me, to that floor plan. And we'll go reconcile. Okay, so it's internal. Now my house, I'm going to drag it up, trying not to move it around too much left and right. You'll see why in just a minute. Now I get up here and I can zoom in a little closer, and I can use my alignment tool to align the top of floor level that I created with the first floor level of the house. Do not lock it because then it doesn't want to move around. Okay. All right, so that's good. Let's go back to our site plan, and there's my house. Okay. All right, so when I select it and I look at it, what I want is the front corner. Well, actually, right there where it's at, that's the back side of the brick. So that's aligned to the corner of the house. So that's, if yours didn't come out that way, you can use your move command. And I want what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on this CAD file I've got here. So you can use your move command to move this. Now I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to choose center of rotation. I'm going to place that at the end of those lines. And then I'm going to drag kind of straight across the building, the front wall, as my first click, and then bring it down onto the line of the CAD drawing for my second click. Okay, and that worked out fantastic first time for me there. You may have to play with it a little bit. Okay, once we select it, you may have to play with the walls or the house a little bit, and yeah, actually that's pretty good right there. Okay, so we got it in place. Now we want to dimension it, because all site plans will give a dimension to the house. Okay, and so I'll go annotate. Well, I could, and I'm going to go from the property line. Okay, and let's see. I tell you what, let's turn off just to kind of. I want to hide that. I think if I hide my CAD drawing, it might make dimensioning easier. And will it pick it up? It's not picking it up. It picked it up earlier. This is kind of weird. Okay. I wonder where'd you go? Oh, sorry. Forgot I was recording. Um, let's turn off roofs visibility. Let's see if that works. Hey, what do you know? All right, now we'll dimension property line, face of core, but it's still not wanting to pick it up. Oh, have to go to the actual corner. Forgot that about the property lines. And you notice I'm pulling my my dimensions outside of where the roof would be. Okay. Because when the roof gets overhung, you know, it's going to cover up the extension line, so I'll pull that out. Okay. Um, that's good. So I can reset this and turn the. Oh, sorry. What happened? Oh, I didn't do it that way. Duh. Turn that back on. Um, I'll just leave the roof off for right now. Okay. We need to draw and put some text in over here for our street and our utilities. And so what you'll do is do a detail line, and you can pick the line. Okay, you're going to do all three of the gas, the water, and the sanitary sewer. Okay, and we're creating it as a detail line, and then I want to stretch it out almost till it reaches the end there. Okay. All right, and now that for you're going to do all three of the utility lines, because when we turn our CAD layer off, you won't be able to see it. Okay, now then we need a center line for the road also. So let's go back and do that again. Detail. And I'm going to change my line type to center line. And then we'll pick line and pick the center line of my road. Okay, and now you'll be able to dimension these, but you have to go from, see, it won't pick up the property line, but it will pick up that corner. And then you're going to pull out and place those pretty close. So you'll dimension all four of the center line of the road and the three utility lines. Okay, so now then the text. The street name will be a 1/4 inch text. The other will be the 3/32. Okay, I'll go ahead and do. Let me show you a quick trick here. All right, now we can move and rotate this thing. Rotating it by hand is kind of difficult. I know the angle of these things. This property line here is north 75 degrees east. Okay, so it's like 15 degrees below the horizontal, which means that, and this one is perpendicular to that. So this one here was south 15 degrees east, so it's 15 degrees over. I want to rotate these things 75 degrees. So I can select it and go rotate, and then I can start dragging over. I can watch it, or I can just type in 75 degrees, and it rotates it to the right angle that I would need instead of me trying to guess which angle. Okay, so you'll do all the street, and you'll do the 3 utility lines also. Okay, next thing is going to be dimensioning our driveway. Now, because this is part of topography, you can't really dimension to it. It just, it doesn't like to be dimensioned to. So the way, there's a shortcut around this. So we'll go in and select our driveway. We'll go edit boundary. And now we'll go ahead and apply dimensions here. And I'm going to go ahead and get my radius dimensions in first. Okay, and I'm only going to do one of of the radiuses because you can do the second one. This one, it gets a little crowded in that corner there. So, and it's like 15.02 or something like that, weird. So now let's switch to some align dimensions, and we need a width for the drive there. We need a width for the drive here. And then we want the length of all of these things. And so you see when I get to the corner and it picks up the center mark, I'll click that. I want to go to the next art when it picks up the center mark. And then I actually want to go to the edge of the street, but I end up having to hit that corner right there. Now I'll pull these down kind of a little bit out of the way, but not getting into my property corner there. So I just kind of have to play with where I'm going to put these things out. Okay. Now here's where it gets interesting. Is I have to select all of these dimensions and the outline, purple lines of the driveway and copy them to the clipboard. So what's going on here? There, okay. I'm holding down my control key and clicking on them. And then I want to go through and start getting all the lines. And the arcs, it's and then here, it's not the dimension line that I want. So I'll come up there so I can get that. I want to get sketch model line, boom. Okay, so I've got my dimensions selected and I've got the outline of the driveway selected. And so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go copy to the clipboard, or you can do Control C. Either one is fine. Okay, and I'll finish my edit because when you put dimensions into a topo surface, it doesn't show those. All right, so now let's go back to modify, and I want to go paste align to current view, and it pastes all that right back in there. So now I can see it. But the problem is I've got these lines. That's my topography subregion. Wonder if I can hide that. I didn't try that a while ago. Awesome. Mm, let's try hiding that too. There's my model lines. So I want to select the model lines that I copied in. And if you can't select them all in one pass, that's okay. You can, and it might be easier to do the ones down here at the end. And we're going to go convert lines, and it'll convert them from model lines to detail lines. And see, they turn green. So now they'll show up in my drawing, but they won't show up in my model. And so I'm going to have to tab. Is that the line I want? No, that's the dimension. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and convert it. Sorry about that. The little mystical bing, bing, bing. So I'll come down here and hover, and I'll tab until I get that little arc of a model line. I'll select it and convert that. Okay, so now what I've done is I've converted those model lines into a detail line, so they only show up in the drawings and not in the model. If you don't believe me, let's go to here, and you can see all I can see is that. And so if I hide that, let's go temporary hide. Oh, okay, so you see they're not there in the model. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go back here, reset. Okay, go back to my site plan, and let's reset that. Okay, now we want to edit the. We'll go back in and edit the actual driveway and add a sidewalk that comes up to the door. Okay, and I think you can figure out how to do that. We're just gonna. Oh, I did hide in view. Let's go back into here. Weird. There we go. Topography subregion, and you go edit boundary and draw you a sidewalk coming up and out, and you have to split this so they can join together. But go ahead and put you in a sidewalk. I'll show you what a finished one looks like. Okay, and you can put some shrubbery in there. Let's tag our trees. Yes, I want to load a tag, and it's in the annotations. Um, Civil planting tag open. Oh, oh, it put it right in the middle there. Okay, and so you'll tag all of your trees. Now, what's going to happen is we'll have to go into the tree, and we're going to go edit type. I'm going to select that name and go down to type mark and put it in there. Okay, and you can see it put it into the tag there. And if your tag is looking kind of weird, if you got a leader, you can uncheck leader. It defaults to box. I want to change to standard, which doesn't have a box. And then you can move it around close to it. Okay, so that's got that. We want to turn our roof back on. And we did that here in visibility and graphics. But you want to do that after you get your sidewalk in and your plants in. Um, okay. And we may have to move around some of our stuff here. See, that's getting kind of crowded. The best way to look at it all is turn off your, is to hide that. Okay. You'll have to move this elevation marker over. You may have to clean up some stuff, do some moving around of some of your annotations and dimensions. You just kind of slide them a little bit. Okay. We don't need the section view after you're done with that. Okay. So you don't need it after you're done with it. Now, when you save this file, it's going to save the house and the drawing also. Okay. So it kind of does double duty on the thing. I'm going to reset that. But what we want is your floor plan, but I don't want that CAD underlay. So I'll have to go back up here and turn that off. Okay. And so you're going to have dimensions. I'll put a PDF up of what the finished product should look like. Okay. Um, and normally we wouldn't do things in color, but it does tend to look better in color. At least it helps me to see it. And then once you're all done, you'll print a PDF of it and you'll turn in the PDF because it's just too big for all those files coming at me. So look into Blackboard and see what the finished product that I will show you looks like, and strive to do the best you can making it look like that. Okay. If you got questions, come by the lab or send us an email.